2021 was a rude awakening for Indiana football. The Hoosiers went 6-2 in 2020, but followed that up with a 2-10 season in 2021. Tom Allen went out there and loaded the team up with transfers, but the question is, can he utilize them and get the Hoosiers back to a bowl game? So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys, ready to break down, predict, analyze Indiana's schedule and record for this upcoming college football season. A season for Indiana that might be pretty rough. You take a look at the numbers, guys, brought to you by College Football Encyclopedia. The Hoosiers started 2021 as a ranked team, and that quickly all went away, really right after that embarrassing opening loss to Iowa. And you look at the numbers. They do return 67% of their production from last year. That's 53rd in the nation. But offensively, they were horrible. The Hoosiers, 124th offensively, averaging just 17.2 points per game. Tom Allen recognized this, guys, and he went out and did a complete overhaul on offense. Connor Bazelite now steps in at quarterback, transferring in from Missouri. Sean Shivert steps in at running back, transferring in from Auburn. Plenty of other running back and wide receiver transfers coming in to try to help and boost this Hoosiers offense that was pretty good in 2020 and just fell off in 2021. When you look at the defense, the Hoosiers will be running that 4-2-5 scheme, one that was 71st in the nation last year. 7 starters are back on that side of the ball, and I will say the secondary is going to be their strength. A very solid secondary for the Hoosiers, led by Tywan Mullen. And that could be a difference maker in a few of these games. If Indiana can force a lot of turnovers like they were able to do back in 2020, it might allow a few opportunities for this new offense to put up some points and maybe rack up a few more wins in 2022. We take a look at their schedule, guys. It's not easy by any means. Starts off easy, then it gets hard. You look at the schedule. They open up against Illinois, who are jumping right into Big Ten conference play. This is an interesting game, guys. We don't really know what to expect from really either team, but especially Illinois. A team that went 5-7 last year, was pretty good on defense, abysmal on offense, but now brings in Tommy DeVito, the transfer quarterback from Syracuse, that could give them that major offensive boost. So this is a big win for both teams, especially when it comes to their potential bowl hopes. Not many high expectations for either the Hoosiers or the Fighting Illini, but big in the long run. I'm going to go ahead and give the win, though, to Indiana. I like having this game at home if I'm Indiana. I think their defense is pretty solid, enough that could wreak havoc in the secondary against Tommy DeVito, and they can make Illinois try to run the ball, which is what they want to do in a Brett Bielema, but I think Indiana will be able to shut that down. If you force Tommy DeVito to win through the air, I don't think he can do it. And I think these transfers start to come together a little quicker than some would expect for Tom Allen. So in a close game, I think they beat Illinois at home on a Friday night, and they should win their next 2 over Idaho and Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, we're giving them that win quickly because they lose so much. They lose Bailey Zappi, they lose Zach Kitley, they lose so much. And I believe they're going to be able to win this game at home. They could beat that good Western Kentucky team by 2 points last year on the road. They lose so much, they can win it now in Bloomington. So 3-0 for Indiana. They've already eclipsed last year's win total. 2-10, now they're 3-0. And then the schedule gets tough. They go on the road to Cincinnati, a playoff team last year. They fell to Cincinnati 38-24 in Bloomington. And yes, the Bearcats lose Desmond Ridder, and they lose Jerome Ford, and they lose Kobe Bryant, and they lose Sauce Gardner. They lose so many starters from that team that helped them get to the playoff. But now they're going to Cincinnati. They're playing at Nippert Stadium, and Luke Fickell is not going to let his team lose to Indiana. The first 3 games are pretty favorable for the Hoosiers. I think people might be buying into them a little too much. They're going to get a reality check when they go to Cincinnati, who, yes, loses so much, but still will be one of, if not the best Group of 5 team in the country. So they fall to Cincinnati. They then go on the road to Nebraska, a Nebraska team that needs this win. Scott Frost cannot allow himself to lose at home to Indiana. Cannot let it happen, and he won't let it happen. Indiana will drop this game to the Cornhuskers. Casey Thompson steps in as quarterback from Texas. Mark Whipple comes in as offensive coordinator from Pittsburgh. And I don't care what anybody says, that defense for Nebraska, guys, is very, very underrated. I really do believe that. I believe they're going to make enough plays here. Again, Lincoln, not an easy place to play by any means. Indiana's going to fall short there. They then get Michigan. Chalk that up as a quick loss. They fell to Michigan 29-7 last year, another playoff team. So you look at that, they got 2 playoff teams on their schedule in a span of a couple of weeks. In 3 weeks, they played 2 playoff teams. Michigan beat them 29-7 last year. Yes, they lose a lot. Yes, it's in Bloomington, but the Wolverines are going to be a potential playoff team again. And they're not going to slip up to the Hoosiers. So a 3-0 start, guys, has turned into a 3-3 start halfway through the season. They stay at home to take on Maryland, and this is a big game, a very, very big game. This is a winnable game for Indiana, and they're going to need it if they want to have a shot at a bowl game. Because you look at what's coming up for them: Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan State, all that in the month of November. Those are going to be tough. They need this win over Maryland, and I think they're going to get it. You know, if you watched our Maryland video, we said we don't think Maryland can beat Purdue and Indiana both. They'll go 1-1 in those games. We have them beating Purdue. We think they're going to lose to Indiana. Some will say, how? Why? Well, because Indiana, despite being as bad as they were last year, almost beat Maryland on the road last year, only falling 38-35. Now with these transfers, I think they can hang with the Terrapins. On top of that, what is Maryland's strength? Throwing the ball. What is Indiana's strength? Stopping the pass. Their secondary. I think their secondary steps up big, forces at least 1 or 2 turnovers of Talia Tagovailoa. Having home field advantage is key here. The urgency is key here. I think Indiana shows up. And in a close game, last year it was 38-35. Expected to be relatively close again. Indiana gets a crucial victory, and they're 4-3. Huge for the Hoosiers. And now they've doubled last year's win total. They then go on the road to Rutgers, though. This Rutgers team is improving. It might not show it on their record, but it's improving. 5-7 in the regular season last year. Now they bring in a new quarterback in Gavin Wimsatt, one of the big, highly touted recruits that Greg Schiano was able to land, in a very underrated defense. I'll add that. Indiana has to go to Piscataway after losing 38-3 to Rutgers in Bloomington last year. I don't see a 35-point swing coming. Rutgers is steadily improving. Indiana will be better than they were last year, but I don't know if I'd call it improving. All these transfers coming in. It's a matter of if they all gel together. But going to Piscataway on the road, Rutgers may be needing this too for their bowl hopes. It's key. I think the Scarlet Knights get it. Defense is underrated, and the offense does just enough to win this game. So 4-4. They come out of the bye week, and the month of November is brutal. Month of November is just brutal, guys. Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan State, and then Purdue. All so brutal. I will say I believe they lose their next 3. We'll stop at the Purdue game. But they lose their next 3 games. And in doing so, it's going to eliminate them from bowl contention, right? You're 4-4. That drops them to 4-7. Because they're not going to beat Penn State. They lost to the Nittany Lions 24-0 last year. Yes, last time here was that controversial finish where Michael Penix stretched out, got that 2-point conversion, and beat Penn State, number 8 team in the country at the time. Michael Penix is gone. Penn State is clearly better than Indiana in all aspects of the game here. And they will win this game. Indiana, though, will score. They won't get shut out again. They, of course, will lose to Ohio State. Best team in the Big Ten. Maybe the best team in the country for some. Lost to the Buckeyes 54-7. No need to touch it. And then Michigan State. Indiana hung with the Spartans last year, only falling 20-15. But now the game is in East Lansing. Michigan State's improved. Their record might not show that, but they've improved. Peyton Thorne, Jaden Reed, going to be a deadly duo on the offense. The defense is getting better, and even though it's not great, I don't think Indiana has the offensive capability to exploit that defense, especially in that secondary. I don't think Connor Bazelak in the passing attack can exploit that compared to some other teams. So they will fall to Michigan State. So Indiana now sitting at 4-7. All they're playing for now is pride in that big annual rivalry game at the end of the year against Purdue. Can they win it? No. No, they will not. Why? Because last year they lost to Purdue 44-7. I am not seeing a 37-point swing considering how good this Purdue team is. Yes, Indiana gets to host this game. Yes, they'll be fighting for pride and trying to steal this from Purdue. Maybe stealing a Big Ten title hope or berth away from Purdue, because that's how good the Boilermakers are. But Aiden O'Connell and this offense simply are 2 good guys. And yes, the Indiana secondary is good too, but Purdue will be able to exploit that. Additionally, Purdue's defense is severely underrated. 8 starters back on defense for Jeff Brom and the Boilermakers. They'll shut down this Indiana offense. And if you go quick 3-and-outs constantly and keep putting your defense back on the field, Indiana's defense will eventually wear thin and get worn down, and Purdue will exploit that. 37-point victory last year for the Boilermakers. Won't be as bad this year, but it will be another Purdue victory. And with that, Indiana will finish the year at 4-8. They double last year's win total, guys, but it's another disappointing season in Bloomington. So much so that you cannot but wonder, could it spell the end of the Tom Allen era? So thank you so much for watching us here, guys, at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, And of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Make sure to go sign up for those today. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.